whaftai mo whafsili. Ia o le tūlanga tātou anga nu e matambuli le tangata Samoa e whailua ia. Se tūlanga fo i e pe le masani ai tātou ia ono nei vai tau. Pal tal forward tātou soifua ia atono le ala le whafsili. O ia o le teine mai tua o lo tama o si umu. Le aingo sata whai ono. O le tama o lo tama o tan vasa ta whai ono. Sau whai matumumua. O lo tama o siosi o sungal whawhianga ia siosi tan vasa i o malili uma. La tau ia ai o te swafa matai ai lan mato ai ngai tua i si umu. O te umia swafa Uta'ile'uo o le fonga foi o lea o se matou ai ngai saanga. Le swafa lea Uta'ile'uo ia whape fo le swafa tu tono le matou nuu. Ia ai o le situ o lo tama o i nofuali ia ana. Ia ai o te swafa tanu vasa mai lea vaenga le ainga. Swafa tanu vasa. Ai o lo tina o le fale asiu. Sa le imo fo ili situ ia ma sa fotu la fai. Ia o te swafa apulu mai la i fale asiu la ainga o si o tina. Ia atono whafonga mai fo inision si o matau ainga sa fai matau wha lawe lawe talwai nei. Ia ai pei o le mea ia o lo waingonga o whanga wai ia o kalala. Ia wala awa ule a onga malinga luenga o Mary o Malia le noa si o grandmother. Ia ai o lo ingo wala awa o kalala. O kalala le swafa o le uso si o tinana whaingo aia o tausang no whanau tasiva o no lua. Tausanga tono ale na sisi ele fu o tuto o tasi o Samoa. Ai malanga mai lo le uso lo o tina is New Zealand. Le na whaingo aia. Ia ai wala awa o Mary po isi. Le ngoa lea i tono ngā luenga. Yeah, that's a little bit about my background. So I'm a true Kwa girl. I say Kwa because, even while you're asking me that question, I'm just picturing in my mind the view from our family property in Siumu, which is up in the Tiavi Hills. There are $1 million views over the Safata Bay, right over to Falealili, as far out into the horizons. And there's no need for aircon up there. It's a beautiful breeze. And both my parents are buried there, but also my paternal grandparents. So yeah, it's really home. That's home for us, for me. So yeah, when you talking about our villages, it conjures all those senses of not just your visual senses, but also your emotional senses about where you belong. So it's not just a village, it's a place of belonging, a place of yearning, where we yearn to go back to. And so home is definitely Samoa for me in my villages of Siumo and Faleasi'u and proud, very proud. And I think that our villages are our identity, they're our strength, they're our reference place. Yeah.
Malo whawhtai, ia. Me siri lewa tātou lewa whailoa hoi lala whanga lo su mai aile po alala mai ai our Super Samoan tonight. I lo te mai tau atu. You're also a superstar. Le te whaalongo atu fo I lau sunga le te awai tono ngā luenga lea. I think it's a documentary, 400 Weddings and a Funeral. To tele fo I o I tātou lo mata mai ma whaafonga mai. Yeah, I trust that you've seen this wonderful works. I myself, I need to go and watch it after hearing the beautiful reviews about this wonderful documentary. I should probably do that after the show. So that is my assignment after the show. But whaamon mole, Mary, whaamon pima whaina, what is your role I tono le works lea or this documentary? And la for so vai because or a description about this documentary from on Molilava.
So all the project is led by our Samoan experts in this area, in the film area. Stefan and Jerry Tawamiti and others. So I think they were approached by TVNZ, to provide some insight into, do some work to provide some insights into, for non-Samoans, what to expect when they go to a funeral, some specific funerals or weddings. And so that was the basis of it. E pe fōlinga mai fo ilele o se talosanga sa awane e nisi ni papalangi o lo umia le vainga o ngā ruenga. E pe ape a whaise polo kalame fo ilele e wha matala atua I tangata ele o ni Samoa po on le o ni tangata Pasifika. Po le ase, o le ani me o no Sound Uni iai a tangata mai isi atunu pe a susu mai fo inisi o tatou wha moe pe o wha poiponga ma fo I maliu. Ia ona wha so ta intalta no mai la I o taulele ai ai ate au. Po le a so manatu a le a fo ise ia pe o le taimina o uma ona iai le la forasanga o uma ona iai la ta iala. So o la ngā luenga I tonu le nā vaenga pe o se tangata fo le fautua e watuni fautuanga watuni whamatalanga mō tātou Samoa. E whaisi no te I le ulutala lai pe whaingoa I ma ia o I le ata le whape o le note a knowledge holder. Ona o le tātou wafa Samoa ele ua se tasi se ia le poto malama o le vaenga o le vaenga le atua. Ai o sina malama ma sina whaasoa nā lai o na mawhai o na tala noa mai nei tau lele ai ate au fo ilele I sa u vaenga o te whaasoa atuai mo le polo kalame. So this was pole amale a year and a half ago, 18 months ago, stem whapenana na amatana film mai. Ia na mato tata no whaala, ia ma mato whaasoa iai. Ia aile na o Samoa, o la fo iai na I tonga, tangata tonga, o le sunga ia John Pulu, le whai masui o tonga peife o le whaasoa le sa whai ea o mō tangata tonga. Ia sa iai fo isi tamaita I to Lau, ia male Niue, ia male Cook Island, ia pei o atunu una al Pasifika le sa filifili la tau. O tātou fo epi to tele. Le nā lai o nā whaile le prokalame lea. Ia whasolo mai a fo le when I got to see it, because it was quite a while ago when they filmed it, but when I got to see it, I was pleasantly surprised that I think the goal here is to educate non-Pacific people about what to expect. So I think that goal was achieved quite well. O le si me mana ye le atalawainga. Fa mali fo ilele. It's not just it was quite funny. So Bella was quite good. She and Siona Sotau foi. I think they fronted it quite well. For ilele, that it was very light, it's humorous, as you would expect an audience of non-Pacific, so that they, I mean, ole winganga tātou tangata, we love humor, we laugh, we cry. If I pena for ilale as they present it, they're very spontaneous for ilele, but in the background, they're showing shots of different, things that happen. For example, when you come to a Samoan wedding, they focused on launga. O tātou Samoa expect whaangale e whai launga, and whereas in Tonga expect whaangale atu o lai be palu le awa tonga. Those differences for ilele. So it was quite nice from that point of view. I think for that purpose. So it's not something that you would definitely for non-Pacific people. Yeah, I think they should be very happy with what they produced.
Malo whawhtai, ia, mātungo whia fōi le te mai synopsis of le documentary. Ia, me se fōi la tōlo o ngā lulu e tuatu i ngā luenga lea. But o tō mā natu lava, we really do have unique events. E me se fōi tātou tangata Pasifika, tātou tangata Samoa, Tonga. So, mātungo whia fōi le whanongolo atu o loo e whawhautua i le nei fōi ngā luenga. And I love to hear the diversity. So, e leo na o Samoa, o Tonga, maisi fōi atunu. So, peona taua, e au ngā lava mo I lātou papalang, lātou e lea malama. You know, they don't understand much about why we're doing things like that, but ia te oi lava ia whaamon mole. What are some pinpoints or some points of expectations to expect when you go to a Samoan funeral or Samoan wedding? Peona whailoa te tono le documentary.
Yeah, because it's just a documentary, it's only 45 minutes, and I'll fast 45 minutes plus the 15 minutes of ads in between. E fili whaanga le alunga le talanoa fo le ma le whailoa I mea ono tutupu I so se whaalawilawi a Samoa. Talanoa uia I a tātou Samoa. Te maliu po se whapoiponga. So in that way, you know, they couldn't do in depth, you know, discussions for ilele. But I think for ilele times are changing. O te la mai tau atu I le tuulanga lewa I le soifuanga lewa tato iai ne. We're on the cusp of change of our culture. O te le ale influence ta tanoa uia I fafo I ne ia tato le I fafo. Te le lava le influence le iai le tupulanga le whananau New Zealand. For example, o le tele o maliu, le tutupu taimi nei, I o mātua o lātou sa whananau nei New Zealand, o mātua sa whananau Samoa. And so there's a sort of a standoff between the tradition and what we're seeing now, the demands of the children of the deceased. Mantua o mātua le maliu, o le tōtele o lātou na o mai Samoa, so it practice e lātou fa Samoa. Ia a mali liu, pe wat iai lal fite na inga le tele o taimi fo ilele. So, you know, they didn't go into any of that because that's something fo ilele au ona ilo al tātou community, mtatou talanoa fo ilele iai. But ole talanoa fo ilele lātou I tūlanga lea au atu I se maliu, ole tūlanga fo ilele o atu, sawawali atu atu e whapea. Wa le tele o ai fo o maliu I ai nei, e ala na atu tangata le Samoa e le ainga, e whapea o ni wō, po ni falfanga luenga, po au lakapi, po something like that, fo ilele, so ele se pi itanga, fo ilele I toto pe ile ainga. E pi o atu ona o le tūlanga o le maftanga, ile fa Samoa o se tūlanga amana ia tele le tūlanga, like I said, ele ai se mea le fa ele ai fua ia le vainga ai petai wa tutu iluna masi ya tu le fala si ngata po le workplace po ai po ni wo ona ole vale alofa fo ile so ile fa Samoa ia o se vainga taua tele le vainga. So they were showing I tonu la le ata le pisa fa ali mai o la nga solo atu tangata ia e atu fo ilele ia la fai mai talai se vai il fai toa sa vali le mu tonu o atu no fo tonu ma fai mai fo se lotu lai tu o le vaenga la ngā pisa act, and that particular part, that was they were actors. But la sa tau mawhaile ata whaamanino mai fo ilele tangata le Samoa, to watu I funeral Samoa. Take your shoes off at the door, keep quiet, go into the room, whawheloa I le ainga laina no fo mai, a uma se lotu, ona avela I o stou te utusi o, a uma foi, tō whaamawai, tō wola I whafo, o inale la sauni mai sem tau maftanga mo o tō po se iputi, o lae apo ai mai le program whaamole mole, awane I le avea I mea ai, watu se mea ai, awane I tali tuali mai na, tatawana, no. So it's little things like that, for ilele, ma le si mea o lai whai mai, uma foi na tō, le tō taimi, la ato, awale nofo umi langa o le solo mai le, fue whai mai foi, o nisi foi, o lo fio o mai I le ainga. But, very, that sort of level. So it wasn't the in-depth or critique of anything, but for that purpose, I think, that was the goal, was, and that's all non-Samoans need to know, what to do. They don't need to know, the critique and the changes and the evolution of our culture or any of that. That's for us to do. Yeah.
Mātungo fie le saunoanga ma le tali le sili na o sili atu tali tonu ese le ngā foi. Au mana e manatu le te mawhau iai. There's a thought that came to my mind is that te lo le tātou tupulanga o lo mawhau why e whaatino ai, tātou anu whaapea, why did we have to, do all of this? E ui lava e iai me ta o le whaloalo, ma le alofa ma tūlanga whapea. O laso whinangalo pea, or what is your answer when a lot of our young people say, why do we, do certain things in our culture, tūlanga whapea, whamot.
Yeah, I think that's an ongoing debate for ilele ma o se vaenga for o te tau mawhai lava wha manino, tau mawhai lava pe a whesili mai nisi o na i o tei po tūlanga whape. Wai tupu fo tono lo a inga. Oisi taimi wa I ulelei, oisi taimi wa maasei. Ona ole le file fe mala mai. So ole tūlanga tātou wha Samoa, o le alofa I le alofa. O le taimi wa pōpua ngā ita, let's say o le funeral, o mai pōpua ngā iau. O te mana o mia lava lo ainga, o te mana o mia lava lo au ainga I a tutuma I o taftafa. E whai lau tala o lo tina, sa maliu nei during COVID. E maliu si o tina, o lai fafo uma ia uso mo tuangane, aina oa uma si uso lai titi. O whaisina umi o tāu fi ofisi o tina I nei, ele mawhaina ave I Samoa wa olo na mana o lea ta oto whaatasi malmato ta mai si umu. And so it was such a lonely time for ilele. Bawa me la tate fia vai atu, ole o mai o lo ta ainga. And yet, ole restrictions ai ele COVID na vai taimi, ele mawhaina mato whewa ai or anything. And o toi natu fo ilele le tio fo I Samoa, a whainei, a lofa mai toi lofa atu. A wā fo I o laifia mana na o tate fia vai lo ta ainga. But on top of that, la fo I manatu mai le la si o ta ainga. Sa mato I loa le tau tina, sa mato, sa tau tua le tau tina, sa alofa mai le tau tina. E te tau fo I la lewo o mai pōpua ngā, e te tau fo I na mato atu, e si I atu se mato tau mawhainga, ma si I atu le po ai le tua le ainga. E watu e fsosoani, pe o manatu na o sa moe alai ona whaapoto se whaalawelave, se au ainga, o lewa tupu mai le maliu lea, taun tātou ai whaapea atu isi, langa ma. Ai, o le mea tātou te manatu fo i le tua atu o tangata nei, o le ale whai a. What is the relationship between us and the deceased? Po o mātua fo i o le deceased. O le a fo i se au ngā le nei tangata i tono le tātou a inga. O le a se au ngā lana whānau le wano nofo mai. You know, all those things, wanga le tau iei mawhawhau o tangata. O le ale pi i tanga. O le ale connection. O se tangata whai mai tono le ainga ne enloa po se tangata. O le a se tūlanga le tau tua le nei tangata i tono le ainga. O le alala na e alaina o mai tangata i tato whaalawe lawe. Ai a whape manatu tātou le whai ale whaalawe lawe. Ngā o kupe alua me maua i. Ia wale fesili ana. How come o mai la tō ma le lua whetala. Ai tō mana tātou tō e teu i pusa pisu po ma le alu tupe a koe manga le lua se lau tāla. Langa foi o le Samoa o le alofa i le alofa. E tau i atu le alofa i le alofa. They bothered to get together and put together some resources. And many of them are pensioners. Many of them are beneficiaries. Many of them are in low-paid jobs. But they bothered. E o mai a mai se mea, e havanga lima ai la tau mawhainga, ale ainga, a wā se toe aso o le ua maliu. A whapea la o lawa bother ma wha elea ia i o lota ainga po ata wō. A ngā loka ngofongofo maka pi i lima maka kilo aku iai. O le ase mana i o lau tanga i masau sila lea vaenga pen. Le ai. O le winga ngā le wha Samoa e a mai le alofa, e tui tau i atu le alofa. Now, e iai taimi e matua o walawa, le toi te o atu le wapi o le vale a le tala noa mai, le telo le tupulanga. O halu vai mai wako e alu le fia se lau a le anga le so o le vaenga la ngai mawhain tato fitu nai ai. Tato fitu nai. Awha pewa ai atu o lai tele, o le ainga, o le ua maliu, e la iti le whanau, pe na le tu o lua fo le whanau, a o pili o le whale maliu, e sfuru tasi afe o le pili o le whale, o le tunga mau, e fitu afe, o le pili o le catering, e se fulu afe, lua sfulu tolu sfulu afe le tupele le pili le tatia i e tau te a le leila matai e whaia le aing whaia le whaia e fua le leile vā lea o le telefoi o ainga e le whape o mai expect e watu la lau te ilo le le ia whaise tūlanga fo i le ia vaai i expenses ia awane i a whaina le whanau o le ma ua whainga mea nai whai o le tilo mo i pili. A mama pili ia awane i mawhatia i le whanau. Wa lava fo i lea a ia whai wha malulu a inga. E matua malama tato a inga Samoa. Matua malama ia sisi la mai whanau nei, o le ama lea, wai le whape o nofo fo ima, ia au ainga i e nofo mai lesi tua tali mai. No, o la fo isa puts in la tau ia. A le mea la tau ia, e whangale, e whetu nai, and I think whangale o le tele o alum whanau fo ilele, e tauna nofo sauni. Nofo sauni, especially pa whai, ngase mātua tūlanga whapea. I mean, that's just a discussion off the top of my head for lele. But le kio foi palangi fai lako home life insurance wa atupu mai me fa pele. But yeah, why o le legacy na for the deceased is is how we send them off. Ele fa pe fai oni vi inga. I've been, you know, o le simple ia le anganga fo ile o toi feiloa i inga wa le si mea nai e te ena fo ile ai misi ai le opportunity toi feiloa i inga ai me se ai o lo olam whanau ni e se a koe wa ai a auntie pai mapai cousin pai mapai ai a vea ia tūlanga i o tato whalable e toi feiloa i inga toi so o ai mafutanga. Ia, wa o isi wa lewa na le toi wa ai. A le o toi wa ai atu le o toi mai i. I really, I guess I'm concerned that a tau loa le 685 wa femi kai ma 685 to the world. O le mea e mawai le 685 that makes us distinct. O mea ia. E mana na o e whaalia lia le 685 pa le mam na o e whaile mea mawai le mea ta o le Samoa. O le mea ta o le Samoa o le tautua. Le tautua o le whaitau langa, selfless dedication. Selfless dedication. O le alofa e tau na whailo na tino has to have actions with it. Alofa la, yeah. And I just think that, thinking back about my parents, both my parents died very suddenly. And yeah, and all of that, God provided. Hey. Never did I think, oh my gosh, never did I think we were going to run short. God provided. Leo mai o ainga, le alo lofa o ainga, even during COVID, the messages, the money, the iakongas, the food, ia le alofa o le atua I mea uma pe tato, go into it with a good heart, and there will be someone there that will help you. And if you don't, sing out for ilele. There's always that cousin, that auntie, that uncle that will help you through it. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Mātuku fiele. Tali. Tō manatu fo ile wa. Matua I tali le leia. Tō teli o isi fisili tana o fia mana o fisili atu. Ai le wa tali le lei lava, ai le tali tasi lava lea. Ai mafo fau fo I lava. O lewa tato amata na we're heading into Samoan Language Week next week. Amata taiao, I believe. Always amata la sa. I doing that for level no level nei. Awa maita wat for I lo ngalwenga fa tu e tono vai ngai fa le ngadu manangana. So it is still an ongoing thing in our MS for ya to know fa pene. O le awa wina o le ngana Samoa. So because I've seen it as well, I competed in the Polyfest speech competition 2023, I think. I was the only one le whaunga ina le toinga ngana ia whaunga matai. And I thought, what did I do something wrong, to langai? Because I spoke from the melena ia te tono lo to mano maho whau. But tō manatu lava, o laso whau tua, po laso whau tuanga, foi. I tūlanga ia for us tupulanga that are trying to learn the language. Because it's quite cliche hearing, you hear from, learn of your parents and things like that. But, tōi lava ia whaman mole. O lase whau tuanga mo alma whana, o le tau tapue ma le tau. They're trying to learn the language and tulanga whapena whaman mole lava.
Yeah, it's a question that, well, it's not a question, it's a situation that is, fast confronting us. Ele vaenga fo ele le ngana. And let me tell you, ele na o nei New Zealand. O Samoa fo ila to wia. O ma mate move between Samoa ma nei at the moment. O le tele o taimi wa ka ke fa Samoa ko e ngangu mai ka Samoa. Ka ke alu fale lo ka fa Samoa ko e ngangu mai. So ole dominance for ole ngangana leta ole ingilisi is very it's very what's the word, obvious, but it's also very it's starting to really wear on us. So mo we o lo sa ilia tau mawhaile ngangana I run programs, right? Right throughout New Zealand and internationally. I do online programs for those who want to learn ngangana, but more importantly, learn the culture. The culture is the background context within which the nganganga lives and grows. So e te tau ona malama umai mea lua. So we run we start from the very basics and then people progress through. We don't, o isi toinga tangata, they want to learn the language, but it might be too advanced for them, and so it's the matai level. But o le mea mana o mia, e tauna a mata to I very basics for ilele. And so from there, you then progress up to other levels for ilele to whaingo ngā luenga I tungo le whale, where you might use a wala auni malo ile lau or fola se toa nai, things like that for ilele. My suggestion is, if you're not wa o tātou mātua, te leo mātua, e lewa pēna o mai nei e whaini anga nu. Na o mai a lātou sa ili malo. O te le fo le lātou sao. O le o tātou ai nei, o tutu mai o whale sā, ma mea uma nei, o whale la maota malawa lo no fai. That's been their hard work. So, a lot of people come to me and they're still very resentful of their parents. My parents didn't teach us the language. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. Oh, come on, mate. You know, you got your parents have done heaps, eh? Ai aula le temine, you're an adult. Make a decision. You can go forward with it. So if you don't have that access to language in your home, then find other avenues where you can learn it. The Centre for Pacific Language, I run online course, I run heaps and heaps of programs. We do school holiday programs, and I love what I'm seeing here locally in Manurewa. They're doing local after-school programs for children i Lengangana. They're doing lots and lots of different things for ilele ina ia tau tapu e mai le tato ngangana le tupulanga. The thing, o lesi mea, is just try and tamawhai to be around Samoans. You can't learn a language out of context. A language has, learn the language in the context of the community. So when people, for example, if I'm talking to someone up in California and I'm trying to whamakala for how to do this, do that, and say this, but they've got no context to practice that in. It's just, use it or lose it. So, when you're awhape te alu e whai se tūlanga whapea, then I suggest that ngale taumo whai alu I lo ainga, just be around your ainga, e māsani lo talinga lo whaalongo. Even questions like, o a mai oe, then you know how slowly you will, the more you're around the language, the more that you absorb it, lau whaalongo, and then you begin to absorb it into your heart because ole difference ngā tātou matangata o te wai atu non-Samoans that learn language lo te atu ai on Facebook and all that o lai mawhaina pu e lātou e papalangi le tātou ngangana but you have to have the heart of what that is as well, the heart of being Samoan as well. So that's my second recommendation is go and move around Samoans, hang out with Samoans, go to Samoan churches. I myself, we were ole tusi whaitau ana matou whaitau ai matou ia ole tuspa ia Samoa. I'm from the old Methodist tradition, ole tusi whesili ana a matai, oina whaia oe, all that sort of stuff. It's repetitive. What it be ole mena sa the old school way e repeat for ilelema recite. Also nei linguistically it's frowned on whangaletu, but that's our brains learn and process information differently. And I'm one of those. I can I can recite all that then because I've grown up like that. So if you're one of those learners, then certainly go for it. There's also the pisikoa method. The pisikoa method, which is, like a bit of show and tell. O le tama lea, o le peni lea, o le and it's repeating that, and then you add o le tama malana peni. That's the pisikoa, what we call the pisikoa method. That's how the Peace Corps were taught in Samoa when they came. But the thing is, what really saddens me is that especially when I'm around youth, is all I hear are the swear words, and even some of the even on social media, some of these words we would never utter in our lives, but they're kind of like every second word it appears in people's comments. E le ngā o tangata tupulanga fo e talavo, e msolo mua kaka makukua. So o le fo ila maua le ngangana. E se le ngangana le whaonga. O le ngangana matanga, o le ngangana I le talawhenga I le whaaloalo. So it's making sure that we learn those appropriate comments fo ilele. Let's see me about learning Samoan language. Or there's a pathway in our language. E tasi le upu Samoa, for example, o te leo tato upu a compound words. So to whamakala se upu, like even, what was I explaining? The prefix fa'a appears in so many of our words, right? And usually it means like something or of something, like the word fa'afine, like afafine. So when we learn language in a contextual way, both linguistically and understand the context of it, then we get to explore the pathways into deeper language acquisition for ilele. Why whaamatala, what is a whawhawhine, or what is this? O le tele o tata upo e whapena, a compound, and so when you ask the question, what does that word mean? Where does it come from? Then whoever's teaching you should explain what those words are and where they come from. And so you start this glossary, this intellectual glossary of words instantly. You don't wait to just learn the basic words. You instantly start to develop a glossary of words from day one. And that's the beauty about learning our language, if you can find access to it. But, if anyone out there wants to hit me up, I'm happy to help people out. We've just finished a family program. What I do in particular, Ben, is I like to teach in family groups. I offer people, look, come, get your family members together. In the winter time, we do it online, so we can just meet up in the evenings online, and then we go through a structured program of the Anganuan culture. And then in the summertime, we meet up and do some more practical things. And the reason why because then you've made people get together as a family, and sometimes I find mako Zoom with families. They haven't seen each other for years and years. Which is perfect. Olisi aina mo tātou Samoa. And just hit me up and see if we can sort something out. Just depends how much time I've got available and things. But there's lots of language places out there, community-based, which is really good. Accessible for ilele. You don't have to go to university to learn our language. I noticed it may say I mangele o I manurewa. O telefo inisi o lo tautu o I le vainga o tatu atunu. I amata tu lai whanau. Yeah.
Beautiful. Shout out to all of those Aonangas that are working hard to, help develop our ngana within our communities. Ia tai tono lewa mai ana I pisiri bebela ia lewa tu atu. Ai te tauna whaisita mai ta alonga I mingo ia ili mama. Toi wha maa lua ili tato afi. So we have this little game called Fast Five. So I'm just going to ask you 5 questions, and whatever comes to your mind, ole tali la pale na.
Oi, ka pela fai ska poka.
Kaya mga ngayon po inakiya na nga.
Ngaya, maya.
The first question is, what is your favorite Samoan food?
Pisua.
Bisua. Beautiful. It's making me feel hungry right
Aya.
now. Second question, what is your favorite movie or book?
The Guardian.
The Guardians. Oh, I might have to look into that too. Because I'm currently developing a list of something to watch.
Okay.
Third question. If you had a movie made about you, what genre would it be?
Comedy.
Beautiful. You don't hear much people say comedy, which is a beautiful thing. Pero e tau o tātou tangata Samoa e fia ai mea maari, comedy.
Aya.
Fourth question. What is, if you had an actor to act, you in the movie, who would it be?
Medea.
Oh, the OG.
OG.
Oto e lo matia. Yeah, tanu e ifuata ia. That's a movie, those movies I love. It's Tyler Perry. And the last question is, what is your favorite, or what is something, a verse, Bible verse or quote that you hold to yourself?
I gotta say Psalms 23. The whole of it.
Oh yes.
When I go through, and I have gone through some very, very dark times, I still remember walking the length of Mangere Bridge on the shore, just quoting that over and over and over again.
Beautiful, beautiful. Piana laval tātai mi ia wa la watu le tātou tau lotu le na.
Aya.
Ai whawhitai tele lava Mary Molo Su mai matal mai au. Wa le tātou interview le nei le wa tātou whaia. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight, Mary, and sharing your beautiful wisdom. Lewa matua I overflow a lo lotu I te leo fo'i o whautuanga and words of wisdom. Tele tonu e au ngā fo'i mo I lātou fo'i I ro whalongo mai mo mai lungu tātou pokalami. Ai ma mole atua le ngāng whawhitai. Whawhitai fo'i oi maro ainga le wasu mai. A wale whai tāpu inga wale tātou interview le nei. But ole avanoa lava nei o tutui nātou. Yeah, for all of your fans, your students, your families, your many supporters, your students that you teach in the class. Ole avanoa lava nei tutui nātou. We call it talifications for alofaanga.
Oh, that's very nice. Yeah. Yeah, le ai e mo mona mo le atolo whaanga I se mato whaiwhi au ma se o mato au lotu I manukau PIC, tunga ia karima, ma whautua ia whaalele, ia ma atua ma lolo, whaiwhi au ma lolo, ma lato whalitua, ti a kono, ia ma lolo al tato e kalesia, pa whai o inisi o whafonga mani nei po, ia ai me se fo ia nai o a inga, mato ainga sa Apulu Uta'ile'uo sa Apulu ia mato ainga sa to fai no I si ia sa tanwa sa il mtua ai ia ai fa pe fo ia sa fotu la fai ma I le solo ma na va ainga tato maftanga le kalesia katoliko ia I think Mole atu sa o whamalo I nei tino matatu al mato ainga o lo o le ngalo o tau le taimi uma I mawhawhawa tuaima si mato anko ia ami atu ma se lusi Ia ua loa fo'i lo soifua si o anko I Samoa ia sa pa'ulole ia ua was full mon tupu mtausaga ia talisia ia se taimi tatou feloa'i ai ia Auntie Jane alipia falongolongo mai Mercy ia manisi fo'i o tatou aiga. I shout out to my Apulu family. We just spent some time together over our uncle's funeral, to my cousins, Uncle Silafanga's kids. Yeah, and all my cousins, my aunties, Solenu'u, Semu, and Wangutia, and really special to my sister. I only have one sister in New Zealand at the moment, Sina and Famwina. Wishing you all the best, sis. Hope you guys have a good Sunday. But the biggest whatalofa a whiunga ia te whae ono Samu, malmatou ainga I si umu, whiunga ia te Filipepe, le maupo sa Samoa. Yeah, aunties and uncles and all my cousins. Yeah, but a big special one to my babies. We have 5 adult children, Reese, Autagavaia Reese, and Vainga, Autagavaia Vainga, Gus, and Reese and Lorianne, and Setiman Tamai, and Vainga and Susan, Dr. Susan Rita, and Vainga, and Oli, Peta, and Bawai that have just left our house, and our daughters out in, we've got 3 beautiful granddaughters out at Te Peninsula, Tesia and Harley and Kiara and Laura and Gus. Yeah, ma Vainga le I Waiata Shores or Ese and Kena and Ada. And yeah, and our baby that's still at home doing all our hours is Julia. But yeah, so in the big wide world out there, and it comes right back to those your immediate family that love you the most and will always be there regardless, and that have always got your back, and that's my husband and my kids. Yeah.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, Whaftai tere lava, Mary, for taking the time out of your evening